So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the technology that I'm using in this tank. There is a subsystem at the back that I will show later. This is actually the input. Where it comes back is actually the return, where it comes from the sump back into the tank. And on the other side of the tank, this is where it goes out of the tank to a sump system that is behind that wall. But just for CO2 distribution into the tank, for the CO2 injection into the tank, I have an Eheim 22.6 classic canister filter down here that is driven by a newer pump, which is a Jibao DCP 5000 that I mounted onto this thing. There is the corresponding regulator for that pump. I'm running that at maximum speed. That actually keeps the noise down. They can be quite noisy otherwise, and it goes through a Quanvi CO2 distributor, injector, whatever you want to call it, and it's then going up here to the tank as a thermometer. And this is so to speak the highlight of this entire thing, the Equino controller. And this thing actually has a pH electrode hanging in the water here that measures the pH value, and the pH at the moment is 6.4. Now it's 6.36, and the set pH is 6.4, so it fluctuates a bit around that. The additional reduction in pH says it doesn't need to do anything even if it goes 1.1 below, and there's always 0.1 cubic centimeters per minute of CO2 flowing. And over there you can see how much CO2 is actually going into there. It just jumped from 5 to 23, and on switch itself off, and 30 is the maximum flow that I allow. It can also go a little bit over that. Also is on the timer, runs from 11 a.m. To 7 p.m. My lights are on from 12 to 8 at night. So this is really the that's really what this controller is for. You measure the pH and you set it to reach a certain target pH, usually 1 pH value below what your tap water is. My tap water is 7.4, so I have it set it to 6.4. There is other modes for this piece of equipment. There is a manual mode where you would just set the flow, for example 25 cubic centimeters per minute, and it will inject that. So you don't have to count bubbles or anything like that. You just set how many cubic centimeters of CO2 you want to inject per minute, and it does it. But that's obviously not really the sweet spot of this machine. And there's also timer modes, so you can just set whatever time you want to inject CO2, and it will do that. There's 2 timer options, but obviously the really sweet spot, the reason why you would buy something like this, is the pH mode, where you set the pH and then this thing does the rest.